Bonjour et bienvenue. Welcome back to a new session of learning French with Merlyn. I promise you 3 things: pronunciation, vocabulary building, and trust me, you'll have fun. I will also be sharing a few snippets of my life in France and about the French culture. In this session, we will be covering pronunciations of different words and different combination of alphabets and letters. Okay, so let's begin our session. Before we begin this session, let's talk about vowels. Vowels in English are A, E, I, O, U, and it's no different in French. Okay, they are called voyelles, and we have A, E, I, O, and U. These are the 5 voyelles. Another thing to remember is that all the rules that apply to vowels apply to the letter H. You would ask me, what rules are we talking about? We'll look at that a little later, okay? But as of now, just remember that all rules that apply to vowels also apply to letter H, though it's a consonant. Let's start with our combined letters and how to pronounce them. O-N. O-N is pronounced as on. On. So you need to keep your mouth really closed, very closed, and then pronounce the combination. O-N is pronounced as on. Now remember, in our first session I had mentioned avion, avion, right? And there's also garçon. It's not garçon, it's garçon. The next combination is en, or in French, en, en, okay? En is pronounced as en. Now the previous one was on. This is en, en. Parents. Parents means parents. And who are your parents? Mère and père. We saw this in the last class. Next is dans. Dans. We are not saying don, we are saying dans. The next combination is in. In French, en. Okay? So in is pronounced as un. Whatever alphabet is placed before it, it is pronounced as un. Let's look at the examples. The first one, and. And. Can you guess what this is? It's a country. And is India. So the next word is plein. Plein means full. Now you see that the spelling is E-I-N. Even though it's E-I-N, it's not pronounced any differently. I-N is pronounced as un. So it is plein. Plein. Plein means full. And so if I say the bucket is full of water, it will be plein. The next verb is plaindre. Now you'll slowly see me introduce verbs into our vocabulary. That's because we will be using these verbs when we come into grammar. So the verb plaindre means to complain. To keep sulking or complaining is plaindre. Now you see it's A-I-N. But since it's I-N, I'm still going to pronounce it as un. So it's plaindre. The next one is a month. You might guess it. Juin. Juin. It means June. Now again, there's U-I-N, but since there's I-N, I'm still going to say un. So it's Juin. Juin. Next we will look at A-N. How do you pronounce A-N? A-N is also pronounced similar to E-N. So it is en, like the country France. France. It's not France. In English it's France, but in French it's France. And the people or the language is français. Now there are 2 more verbs I want you to remember. The first verb is important. Manger. Manger. This means to eat. Danser means to dance. Now the pronunciation of OI. You would know this. I've kept repeating this so many times that you would know it by now. So try reading it along with me. Voiture, poisson, and the next word, voilà, voila is like tada or here it is. Okay, so this is a word which is commonly used even in English, but I've heard people say voila. It's not voila, now you know it, so please do correct people who are making this mistake. It's voila. And you see that there's an accent grave over the letter A, but there's no change in sound. Now we look at ILL. ILL is usually pronounced as Y. So we saw fille. And then we have the next one, taille. Taille means height. Interesting. What do you think a sharpener is called in French? It's called a taille crayon. Crayon is a pencil, crayon, okay? And taille is height, right? So what is the purpose of a sharpener? To adjust the height of a pencil, right? So that's exactly what the French call a sharpener. Taille crayon, height pencil. Something to adjust the height of a pencil. Okay, so I'm sure you won't forget that now. Remember that I had told you that there are exceptions in French, especially for this. So there are some cases where ILL is pronounced as il itself. Okay, so example, ville. Ville means a city, and it's not ville. It looks exactly like fille, but I'm not saying ville, I'm saying ville. Well, that's an exception in French. Next word is tranquille. Tranquille. Tranquille means calm. Okay, so these are a few exceptions. Now you would ask me, so I and then double L gives you the sound Y most of the time. What about other alphabets and double L's? Well, there's no change. So you will pronounce it exactly as it is. No Y sound, okay? So, example, balle means a ball, balle. And you have colle, which means glue, so colle. It's not colle or baille, it's balle and colle. Now we will look at liaison. So this is a concept I had explained briefly when we looked at greetings. So basically, when there's a consonant followed by a vowel, okay, what you will do is you will build a link or a bridge between those two, and you will pronounce them together. You will read them together. This is so that it sounds smoother. And you know, you've heard people say that French is a beautiful language, it sounds good. That's because there's a lot of effort put into making it sound so good. So one of the good things, you know, about the French language is liaison. It makes the words sound more beautiful. For example, bon appétit. This wasn't included in the greetings video because it didn't gel in well, so I'm including it here. It means have a good meal or enjoy your food. Okay, bon is good, so bon appétit, if you literally translate it, it's have a good appetite. Okay, now I'm not saying bon appétit, I'm saying bon appétit, because there's N, which is a consonant, and A, which is a vowel. Now remember, I told you all the rules that apply to vowels apply to the letter H also. So that means liaison applies to H also. This is les. Les is an article. When we come into articles, we learn this. So you know articles in English, a and the. You see the tables or a table, all these. So these are articles. So similarly, this is an article. When we come into articles, we will do that. So that time it will be a little clearer. Okay. So les is an article, and hotel, we learned this last time. It meant hotel. So there's an S at the end. That means it's plural. Okay, so les hôtels. Hotel starts with H, right? So it's a consonant. But all the rules that apply to vowels apply to H also. So it will be les hôtels. Les hôtels. S is a consonant, H is a consonant, but the rules apply. So les hôtels. So that is how liaison works. So now here are a few words for you to try reading, a few words for practice. So pause the video and try reading them. I will read them, but please do pause the video, do not cheat. Boisson, boisson, it means a drink. So Pepsi, Coca-Cola, Sprite, all these are boisson. Maman, maman is mama or mother. Okay, mother exactly is mère, but you know, even in English you have mom, mum, mama, all these, that is maman. So just for you to understand, there's mère and père, which means mother, father. You can also say maman et papa. So these are ways of addressing your parents. Okay? That's a less formal way. So when you're writing somewhere, you will write mère and père. So when you're talking, you would say maman and papa. Entendre. Entendre means to listen. This is a verb. Oncle. Oncle. Did you get this right? Oncle means uncle. This is interesting. So in India, what we do is we call everyone uncle or auntie. So my neighbor is an uncle, my neighbor could be an auntie, anyone in the shop could be uncle or bhaiya, right? But in France, that's not the case. You call only your blood relations. So if you're related and he is actually your uncle, only then you call that person oncle. You don't call any random person on the street uncle or bhaiya. Did you get this right? Oreille. Oreille means ear. Oreille. Well, that's it for today. I hope you had fun. And now I think you'll be able to read a lot of French words and you wouldn't have doubts on how they're being pronounced. So have fun and we'll meet in the next class. Merci et au revoir.